Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to welcome in Julian Sher, author, investigative journalist, works in Canada as well as here in the United States. Somebody's Daughter, your new book. Julian, thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
So tell us, Somebody's Daughter, the hidden story of America's prostituted children and the battle to save them. How did you come to write this book?
Well, as an investigative journalist, I'm always looking at crimes and dark stories, but I'm always interested in stories that sort of point a dark mirror towards ourselves, that says something about us, about our responsibilities and our society. I've done several books and investigations on child abuse, and quite a few law enforcement officers, prosecutors, people working in the field say, you've got to check out prostitution. And I think I, like most people, thought that when it comes to trafficking, women who are trafficked, I thought of girls coming in from Mexico or women coming in from Russia. And when I found out that the vast majority, I mean over 95% of the girls who are being trafficked in America are American girls. They're somebody's daughter, and they're coming from Portland, Medford. You go down to Vegas, as I did, and you walk the streets with the cops. Most of the girls who are prostituted along the Strip in Vegas and all through Nevada and New York, they're coming from across the country. So you begin to realize that there are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of young girls who are being trafficked, and we're not seeing it as the serious crime that it is.
And I know you're familiar with Oregon, of course, the I-5 corridor and all that. I want to get to that in a second, but first I want to ask you, you spoke recently at the Medford Library. Tell us what you told your audience.
Well, I think the point is that this is happening in our backyard. Oregon is known as an important center for trafficking and forced prostitution. Portland has that reputation, and you know, just step outside these studios, right? Yeah. You've got that corridor.
Right
you've
there.
got that. You've got now. There's a lot of traffic. That means there's a lot of trafficking. Truck stops are renowned, but also easy access. You know, when pimps are moving the girls, when girls are looking for a place to do work, right? They're going to shoot down the I-5, make their way to California, and also, as you probably know, Oregon has a bit of a black eye nationally, because when various groups do ratings and report cards on how the states are doing, Oregon doesn't rate, sadly, in the top tier about states that have good and effective laws and help for the girls. So I think it's important that people in Oregon kind of stand up and see what's going on.
Yeah, it seems like in Salem, legislators are trying to improve upon that, which you're talking about, and yes, there is work to be done.
And what's good about it is that even in the last 2 years, I started working on the book because of activities. There's groups in Portland, national groups. There's been good initiatives. The U.S. Attorney General for Oregon has been outspoken on this issue. I believe federal prosecutions of trafficking cases went from 0 in 2006 to 10 in the last year. So clearly there's been a growing sensibility here because of stories that you've done, that the station has done, because of what journalists are saying, because of activist groups, survivors are speaking out. And yes, some legislators, town mayors are speaking up, and that's good, because we're beginning to realize, and this is really the real key issue, that these girls are not doing it because of choice. You know, it's hard for, you know, you drive down a street in Medford, or you go to Portland and you see a young, skimpily dressed girl standing on the corner. You don't see a gun to her head. You don't see a chain or handcuffs. So people kind of say, well, there's sex and money. Like, what could be wrong, right? And people don't understand the subtleties of trafficking, how the pimps can manipulate these girls, how they force them to do it, and in fact do a kind of psychological blackmail almost, so that, as you know, as pimps will tell you, the best victim is somebody who doesn't see herself as a victim. So he's got this girl making money for her, and he doesn't have to watch her and keep her in chains and lock her up in a jail. Wow. So these are complicated issues that people are just beginning to understand, I think.
Very good. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have much more with Julian in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with author Julian Sher talking about his book, Somebody's Daughter. Julian, tell us about pimping culture.
You know, unlike other crimes, whether it's cocaine or murder, we don't promote this kind of crime, forced prostitution. But people don't realize, think how widespread pimping culture is. Think of how we see pimps as cool, expressions like pimp my ride. You can go on Amazon today and order books, How to Become a Pimp, and it'll talk to you about how to manipulate girls, how to find the victims, how to find the ones who are weak and vulnerable. One of the most popular video games and computer games, Grand Theft Auto, you get points by the amount of prostitutes you will kill, murder, and maim. One of the best, It Ain't Easy Being a Pimp won Best Oscar movie theme song a few years ago. So we have a culture that, worships these slave traders, right? And if you change the name pimp and call them slave traders or sex traffickers, but by using the word pimp, we see it as okay. So what does that say about the girls? We criminalize the girls. The vast majority of people who are arrested for this crime are the girls, not the traffickers, and not the Johns. We're not dealing with the demand. The men in Medford and all through Oregon who are willing to buy underage girls and have sex. So I think we have to really challenge that pimping culture. Parents should be looking at what their young teenagers are watching and playing, and we have to question the values in our society where we demean these girls.
Okay, and real quickly, since we're running out of time, how do we begin to do that as a society?
What's happening in Oregon and across the states is people are beginning to realize these girls are not criminals, they're victims. There's an effort to find shelters for them, to give them the protection and the help that they need. And once they have that, they will feel secure and safe and be willing to help police and law enforcement go after the Johns and the pimps, charge them for criminal enterprising, racketeering, and some pimps have now gone away because of that, because of the cooperation between the girls and the cops for as many as 25 years or longer.
Wow.
That's what we have to do. We have to turn it around, and it's beginning. There's good signs.
Very good. All right, and people can find out more information about the book and your other work on juliansher.com.
Juliansher.com, lots of resources, excerpts, and people can email me. I'm always glad to hear from them.
Very good, Julian. Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back.